And 13 minutes past 6 in the morning. And already some young folks are out there on the jet skis, speeding along, trying to create waves. Sometimes they pool together to create more waves for each other. And in the readings today, the word wave is used. Waving the sheaf. We've just turned to the book of Leviticus, and the book of Exodus is behind us. And also something I didn't comment, I think, all month, and I meant to do that a number of times. Tomorrow is the last day of July, so better late than never. I had, at the very beginning of July, I had posted a link for something very important in our society. And because we're all seeing these social media so much, we should pay good attention to building mutual relationships, person to person. Obviously, the social media can be part of that, but the personal encounter, eye to eye, because that's actually a little bit more challenging. You know, if you're talking to somebody on the phone, you don't have to take into account their eyes. The eyes are very demanding because there's a whole conversation happening with the eyes. The eyes pick up the notes of respect, of appreciation. The expression and reactions of our soul become immediately evident in our eyes. And the humor appreciated, our eyes light up. Something nice is spoken about, and our eyes light up. And that happens at the speed of light. Almost, you know. And our brain is processing that. And so it's very engaging to speak to people face to face. You know, the job parents have to do to teach the children, the little children, to look up at your grandpa. Look at your grandma. And the little child has their head down, maybe they have their thumb in their lips, and they're just a little shy, and it's difficult. And then when it's somebody outside the family, hey, oh, look, this is John, our neighbor. And they hide behind their mom's skirt, or they run into the house and start playing with something. Maybe even for us men, we turn to things more readily to do things. We're always out doing things. Maybe women have a very strong gift of connecting with the heart, and they have all these conversations, and they have to take extra time to process all the stuff that's happening together. And that's a beautiful gift. And the increasing use of the social media means we could be communicating lots of content with each other, but we need to talk to each other. We need to see each other. We need to have that resonance. You know, one of these jet skis creates waves and it affects the others immediately. We can do that with words also, because words are very powerful, very deep, but the facial contact, person to person, is so important. And that's the message that I posted at the beginning of July from Pope Francis, urging that we take great care to build personal relationships. You remember also the phenomenon, I remember as children, there are some folks, some kids were more bookworms. And they had lots of knowledge, and it's beautiful. But maybe then the strengths they had for talking to people, for sharing thought, for helping another person to rejoice, maybe those strengths weren't as developed. and had plenty of potential. So other people then are just totally in the social scene, talking and laughing, but sometimes maybe they don't have much content to share because they don't develop thought, they don't develop understanding, analysis, pondering, deep reflection. So the human being we have lots of different dimensions, and there's some basic all-roundedness we all need. We can become strong in one area or another, and that's great. That's the development then of different expertises, different fields of competence, of special competence, of advanced competence. To be able to give advice to others, to introduce others, to teach others. And the geography teacher has a great dominion of geography, especially after teaching for a number of years. And the math competence is different. We need all our different competences at a minimum at least. And the social contact is so important because we're immediately siblings, we're immediately children of our parents, parents of our children. And that eye-to-eye contact is so important. There's a beautiful expression in Italian that always fascinated me. If you wanted to have a really personal conversation, the Italians would say a quattro occhi. Let's talk about this with 4 eyes. That means the two people are really looking at each other, and also they're calibrating each other's position on maybe a conflictual issue. We need to resolve this. We need to talk face to face, we would say in English. And the good Italians have it a quattro occhi, with our 4 eyes, you know. There isn't one eye on the iPhone. There isn't one eye on the oven. There isn't one eye on the television. All my 2 eyes are ready and focused on you, because we need this encounter. So there's a thought. Didn't plan to talk too much about that, but thanks be to God, it came out right now. And I had, just as I was loading the text for this post, I realized I hadn't commented on that link. Draw your attention and please look at it. It's only his messages are very short, like a minute and a half, 90 seconds, 93 seconds. You know, they go quickly, like an advertisement on television, especially when Olympic advertisements might be longer, you know. People are glued to the screen watching. And interesting also about Olympics that, you know, Paul uses that example like the runner in the stadium, focused on running and growing. And he applies this to our faith. And today we have very interesting commentaries on the faith. And I would say, in a certain sense, in an athletic way, even though it's not really said like that, because it's like the gym of exercises, the gymnasium, the different exercises we need to do. And starting in the book of Leviticus, the exercises mentioned are the feast days of the year. And can you imagine a people for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years following these regular feast days with instructions of how to turn to the Lord and even wave a sheaf of grain, of cereal that has been harvested before the Lord? And what's that saying? It's saying, Lord, you gave it to us. You gave us the growth. We planted, we tilled the soil, but you gave us the growth. Now, normally when we're driving a car and there's a road down there and we look at the car and we paid a lot for it. I remember my mom, when she bought the first car, when she went back teaching, my youngest sister was able to go to school. It cost £500 about. It was a Morris Minor. And I think they were made in England. And it was a big deal. So she got this new car. And we all fitted in there. I wonder how we managed to do that. 5 children, my mom and dad. And, you know, she could say, well, I earned this with my money. And then the worker who built the car, the different mechanics at the car industry could say, we made it. And somehow we human beings today have acquired great dominion, which was also in God's plan. But we might forget to give thanks, to recognize the maker. Not the car maker. Yes, the ultimate car maker. And we're not seeing the chariot of fire today. But there's this is a spirit of faith. You know, faith is a gift. And our gifts, let's say music, if you don't continue practicing the violin or the piano or the guitar or even humming, you know, you won't be doing too much music too well. So we need to practice, and that's the practice of our faith. And so all these festivities of Passover and Pentecost, that was the 50 days after Passover, those big feast days that have also are structural feast days in our liturgical calendar as Christians. And then you have Yom Kippur and the feast of booths, of tents. And so we have these moments throughout the year that remind us that God has been present in our lives. And one of the great advantages we have over the people 4,000 years ago, or a little less now, let's say 3,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, when all of this was being more and more codified for the Jewish practice, they were starting out. But we see that how the history of the cultivation of the faith, the exercise, like we see the history of the Olympics, and how the records are climbing, the weightlifting, the high jump, the new sports being added, and we see the speed in the racing. Once upon a time it was to break the 4-minute mile, which nobody thought was possible, and as soon as it happened, there were a bunch of over 4-minute mile breakers. So in the way it's hey, this is the closest I've ever been up here, I think, with the sunrise stroll and chat. There you have the moon just above the last wire there. So the practice of our faith. And that's what happens in Nazareth as well. People are so familiar. Familiarity breeds contempt. And they cannot view Jesus with faith. Because everything has to be the human measure. We have to make it. We have to understand it. Well, welcome to reality, people. A bunch of stuff we don't understand. Oh, look at the herd of cows down here. It's a tough time for the cows because it's about 40 degrees, over 100 degrees. They're out here in the mountain. The calves are getting bigger. The beautiful agriculture here. Look at all the exercise that goes into developing a good crop. All the pruning, all the work, the husbandry and the horticulture. All the work that goes in building a house. And all the work that goes into our faith. Faith is a gift from God, but we're also part of the process. We're looking into God's eyes. We're face to face with God. We need that exercise, weaving the sheaf before Him. His gift to us, fruit of the earth and work of human hands. And we thank the Lord of all creation. People, may today be a great day of exercise of faith for you in little things. And it could be just considering one member of your family and saying, thank you, Lord, for the gifts that you have given me through this family member. Thanks, Lord, for being a rock in my life, for being the solid point of reference. And Lord, sometimes my faith has been weak, but I want to grow again. I want to grow more. I have all this experience of my life now. And there are plenty of new records of faith I can break through. It's not about doing stuff, it's about the interior bonding with God. the building of that deep relationship with God. Hey guys, it looks like we're going to be watching the sunrise by faith this morning, because I'm going to call it a day. One of the reasons is also that I forgot to charge the little Osmo, and I think it's coming to its last tether. It might do the Instagram, and if it doesn't, we'll do it by the old-fashioned hand way, but it's definitely needs a recharge today, especially for the German one this evening. So people, see you later, alligators. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I must show you here somebody you know, but some of you guys always want to see somebody you know on this program. So let me just turn this thing around if I'm able to catch the right button here. Hey, where's it go? Oh, there it is. Hello there. I didn't fix it right, I did it with one hand. It's a bit hot here. It's actually, I started out at 27 degrees this morning. 27 degrees. So, there was a lady in Ireland about 2 or 3 weeks ago. She put up 26 degrees, unbearable, unreasonable, ridiculous was the word she posted on Twitter. Ridiculous temperature, 26 degrees. So I sent her back, posted an answer on her Twitter, and I said, screenshot 39 degrees, and then I wrote down, ridiculous with a question mark. So that's the way we all have different experiences. People, the sun is in there. You gotta have faith. God bless you.